Welcome to the IaREIA and Iowa Landlord Association, where we educate, advocate, and empower real estate investors.
Hey, I'm glad to have here with me today Tim Wilson. Now, Tim Wilson is, what position are you in with Home Forward Iowa?
I'm the executive director.
Okay, great. Well, I don't have any magical questions. All we are going to do for just a brief segment is for some of our members, some of our stakeholders in the industry, and we're all aware that there's this COVID thing going on, and some of us are aware there's been eviction moratoriums. Fortunately, about 80% of tenants are not affected, but what Tim works on a daily basis is helping with people who are in a bit of a distress. He tries to keep them from having to move out and go to the street. So Tim, with that, I'm going to let you take control of this. Tell them a little bit what's coming up this coming Thursday, October the 8th. We'll have you.
Sure. Well, thanks, Andrew, for the opportunity. I look forward to meeting with everybody next Thursday, and I'll have somebody that actually administers the program I'm going to talk about here in part of the state. Yeah, the homeless service providers we're universal in understanding how crucial our relationship with landlords, property managers is throughout the state, and because you are the first step for most of the folks we're trying to help out of homelessness and into stability, and we appreciate the relationship that we have with so many of you. What's happened here as a result of the pandemic and through the Federal CARES Act is that HUD has been granted a whole bunch of money, we'll just say it that way, of which right now about $8.5 million is directed to Iowa and available in Iowa through even next year, as long as funds last, for rapid rehousing funding, which is basically to get people that are literally homeless off the street, but probably more interest to our guests on Thursday is the homeless prevention funding, and those are funds for households that qualify for back rent, for utilities, other costs that were brought on by the pandemic, and they don't have to. There's not like they don't have to write out a whole 3-page explanation of what the pandemic means to me or anything like that. Just what they do need to have is income below a certain level, and we'll explain that on Thursday, and some indication that they are in imminent risk of losing their housing. Now, whether that's an eviction notice, it doesn't have to be an eviction notice necessarily. It can be just a letter from a landlord that reminds them of how many months their back rent they have and so forth. And there is, through our system, through our coordinated entry system throughout the state, there are different regions, and the funds are administered by different agencies in each region. We'll go over that on Thursday. I'll have information on where landlords can direct their tenants to get more information and apply for these what we call ESG CV homeless prevention funds, and the contact information for that and more details. And I'll have somebody again that is administering these funds currently, and we'll be able to answer at least some more detailed questions, understanding that each region's policies are going to vary a little bit.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, like I said a little bit briefly this morning before we started this call, I was visiting with you on the phone on the way here, and we talked briefly about the fact that no one starts this landlord-tenant relationship where there's a agreement to rent and let this space to someone. No one in our business, none of our members ever think, well, I'm starting this lease with the idea of being what I want to get to as quickly as possible is the eviction process. No, that is one of the most costly things we do as landlords, other than maybe replace a roof and maybe if we had a fire in the building or something. But turnover is very expensive, and eviction turnover is much more expensive.
Sure.
And so we're really much more interested in being housing providers that provide a solution. And so I've encouraged our members to print out the forms we have at our COVID alert section of our website. That Iowa Housing Finance Authority has some funds available. But now what you're talking about with the Emergency Solutions Grant for COVID, the CV portion, is a different pool of funds. It's a different application process. Is that correct?
It is totally different. It's a different level of eligibility, and yes, the funds are the funds are from, well, all the funds are through HUD eventually, but this is administered very differently. Yes.
Okay, and so now I won't steal any of your thunder from Thursday, other than I want to ask you: are these funds that are available? They're not loans to landlords? Are they
No.
loans to tenants? Or are they grants?
They are. This is more like a grant. It is funding that goes directly to the landlord or to the utility company if it's paying off utility bills. And this is, as I'd mentioned earlier to you, Andrew, this is totally new in many of our counties. We just have not had these funds, this kind of funding available before. So even if people have kind of heard about it, but looked into it and, oh, there's nobody with those funds there. This is true. There are funds for this homelessness prevention in every county, all 99 counties in Iowa.
Okay, excellent. Well, so folks, we just wanted to take a few minutes and make sure that you understand that you want to reserve some time if you think you have a population amongst your apartment community or amongst your single family houses that you're renting that is having a hardship. We want to make sure you get on the call. We will record the call. At least we intend to, put it that way. We intend to do a lot of good things for you all. But the reality is, if you're not on the call, I'll guarantee you your question won't be answered unless, of course, if you email it to us, and then even then we may not get to it. So it's much better that you be on the call. We'll have a period of time where Tim and an associate that he works with who actually helps administer the funds, both will have a period of time where they'll do presentation and some education about how accessibility to this funding and what we need to do, but also we'll have a Q&A time. So I just want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to get their questions answered. And we're really looking forward to having Tim Wilson from the Iowa Home Forward Iowa.
Correct.
And executive director. So
thanks for watching. We hope this production empowered your business. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more great content. And don't forget to join us in person for powerful networking and priceless information at our next live event. For all event information, please go to our website.